Dan Illman, Mike Beer. It's the last Saturday of the 2019 Saratoga meet. Graded stakes galore on Woodward Saturday, including race number 10. This is the Grade 2 Glens Falls. Fillies and mares going 1 3/8, 3 turns on the inner turf at Saratoga. Play the race, the Woodward, and all the nice 2-year-old races as well with a DRF Bets account, $100 deposit match just waiting for you at drf.com/bet. Let's meet the field for the Grade 2 Glens Falls. $250,000 is the purse. We've got 9 entered. The 6 Indy Union will run if the race is switched to the main track. Let's kick things off with the number 1, Empress of the Nile. Third start for Graham Motion, and this horse scored last time out in an optional claiming race. We're going to watch that right now. This is a cavalry charge. She is in the teal, swinging to the outside, the 1A right now, and it looks like she's in deep water, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of horses in this race who looked like they were in pretty deep water. They're all going to come together at the end of this race. Empress of the Nile, let's give her credit. She finishes very gamely in this race to get up. This is a turf course at Saratoga that she really likes. She's run well up here a couple of times. I feel bad for anybody who liked her in that race last time because she was coupled with a Chad Brown horse. Otherwise, she would have been a pretty nice price in there. Instead, you got even money on her, but she still ran really well. You
get your price perhaps on Saturday, 8-1 on the morning line, facing several Chads, and a formulator fact to boot. Graham Motion, the past 3 years, older last out winners in graded stake turf routes, 20% winners, a $3.24 return on investment. Let's talk about one of the Chad Brown trained runners, and that's the Inform Fool's Gold, who finished ahead of a couple of these last time out when upsetting the apple cart in the Grade 3 Weah. We turn into the stretch, and Fool's Gold was always forwardly placed, stayed out of traffic, is forging to the front right now, but I really like the way she finished this off. This was the best I've seen her look in the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, she's been in really good form. Just feels like she keeps getting better for Chad from race to race. She's handled the stretch out in distance the last 2 times. She won this race, and I like the way she did it too, Dan, but she got a perfect trip in this race. To get it done. I felt like things might be a little tougher for her this time.
Well, Timeform US believes that she can make the lead. And you know something, if I was riding her, I'd try to put her in front, get her out of trouble again, maybe back down the fractions and see if she can kick on home. I think she will be a decent enough price yet again. The folks really seem to love betting Santa Monica in these sort of races, and Fool's Gold did take her down last time out. We'll get to Santa Monica in a bit, but as you see, Fool's Gold made the front. Violet Blue was third last time out in that Empress of the Nile race. Could you find any excuses for that performance, or do you think she's just a cut below the graded stakes ranks?
Yeah, I just think she's probably a cut below. She's okay. Distance is fine for her. I thought she ran fine last time to be in the photo. I just don't really like her in races like this.
Santa Monica's earned over $500,000 in her career. She was second in this race as the favorite behind Lady Montour, who wired her on just a ridiculously slow pace. Did you think this horse's trouble compromised her last time out in the Weah? And if you reverse trips with Fool's Gold, Santa Monica wins?
Well, maybe that, I mean, if you give anybody the trip that Santa Monica got last time, and it probably would have made a difference. This horse did have trouble. She lost position on the backstretch. She had to come wide off the turn. I thought she ran well. We've talked about this horse several times, Dan. I'm not a big fan of hers, but she makes a lot of sense in this race, and she wants this distance. If she gets the right kind of a trip, she'll be there at the end again.
The number 5, Mississippi, is your X factor in here. She is a European import, making her first start since June. I want to know your take on Mississippi, who was a pretty good 3-year-old filly, good enough to win a stakes race in France and group placed in England. Now, she's started twice this year. She has been terrible both times. Do you simply think it's a fact that this is a filly that needs Lasix and firm ground, or is she past her prime already?
Yeah, that's the real question of the race, especially as it regards her, because you just don't know if she can run anymore. Obviously, her 2 starts this year have to be a big concern. Her final 2 races as a 3-year-old, though, were both very good. She ran really well in those races. I would caution that in both of those races last September, she broke terribly from the gate. So I would keep an eye on that because if she can't afford to do that against this field, but I do think there's a chance that Lasix and firm ground gets her back to her good race, and her good race is pretty good.
I think Lady Montour is a bit of a sleeper in here, Mike. We mentioned that she won this race last year when just able to steal it on the front end, and I think Kendrick Carmouche has got to be aggressive. We know he can be. I think he's got to try to make the lead. I think Fool's Gold will let her go, and Lady Montour can be very dangerous if allowed to dictate her own terms.
That's very true. I took a long look at her in this race because she does have some talent. I wanted to give her the soft turf excuse in the Sheep's Head Bay. It just felt like really nobody handled it that day except for Santa Monica. Last time, they did send her off to the lead, but Homerique's just, she's just too good. This horse didn't run well last time, but I'd be willing to give her the benefit of the doubt for that. Carmouche should put her on the front and see what happens.
Knight of England, 12-1 on the morning line. That seems like a lot of value on this brown train runner who was good enough to be second in the German Oaks last year at 3. She ran okay in her one and only start in North America, the Long Island. She seemed a little bit eager. She pulled to make the front and she got a little bit tired late. Let's go back to her seasonal debut off the long layoff. Mike, take us through this trip.
I think off the layoff, I want to look at it as a prep, Dan. She just didn't break well from the gate at all. At that point, Castellano just took her back to last and let her sit there. You can see her, sort of closing down the outside at the end of this race. She's never getting up, but she's pretty game to continue to gain ground. I think this is a race that she can build off of. I actually feel like she ran really well in the Long Island last year. I'm not so sure she didn't run the best race that day. I'm hoping she settles a little bit better this time and get a much better trip.
And I think she can be close. She showed that in the Long Island 2 starts back, that she's not this slow-breaking, typical European. She can get into the race. And I can see her working out a trip in the second flight, third or fourth, maybe getting ready to pounce when the field hits the third turn. Get explicit, the 9 completes this field for a very good trainer in Barb Minchell. This horse was second in the Weah last time out. Just couldn't make up the ground against Fool's Gold. But all in all, Ricardo Santana gave her, I thought, a pretty good ride.
Yeah, gave her a really good ride and gave her a chance at it. She was never catching Fool's Gold. She did well to get second. I think she has to improve off that effort to beat this field.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 2 Glens Falls. It's Chad's World. We just go with 2 different Chad-trained horses. I think Fool's Gold can get a trip, either getting to the front or sitting off Lady Montour. I like the way she finished it off last time out. I don't believe she's a star, but I'm beginning to get a little bit tired of Santa Monica's act. I'm going to try to beat her. I went 2, 4, 9, and 5, and you think Knight of England is primed off of that last prep?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that she needed that last race and can build off her Long Island, which, again, I really liked. I'm not way against Fool's Gold. I'm actually a big fan of hers. I just felt like last time was a good time to have her, especially with the trip that she got. I threw Mississippi in there second, just seeing if the Lasix and the firm ground turns her form around. I went 8, 5, 4, and 2.
The Grade 2 Glens Falls, one of several stakes races on Woodward Saturday. Carded is race number 10. Bet it with a DRF Bets account. Sign up is easy, and you get a $100 deposit match. Approximate post time for the Glens Falls, 5:27 Eastern. Best of luck.